Very excited to be joined now here on GCR by, frankly, one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. What a story it has been for this man this season as he got back to Baltimore and has been basically unhittable. He is Orioles ace, Trevor Rogers, and he is with us this morning here on GCR. Trevor, it's Glenn. It's great to chat with you. Thank you so much for taking the time for us this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely, Trevor. Trevor, I know you've talked about it a lot, right? Like, but can you take us back when you got back here? Maybe even starting with the Boston game. Did you know that like everything was good and that everything that you had been through last year it was past you, or did you need to see the results too to have that confidence that you were back to being yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it's a little bit of both. Um, I knew that offseason that the work that I put in and I trusted that I was back to where I was, a couple of years before that. But at the end of the day, for me, I need to see results, just to prove that I am back to where I need to be. And that Boston start was, I think I said it was a lot of unanswered questions for me.
Hmm.
So that was the start of something special, as far as going into the rest of this year.
Did you can you walk us back through like as an athlete you're going to succeed, you're going to fail, like it's all part, and no sport brings that out more than baseball, right? We talk about it all the time.
Right.
um
Mhm.
was it was it as difficult as we would think it is to go through what you went through last year? Would you say I know this is part of it, I know it didn't define me? What was it like physically, mentally, emotionally going through that a year ago?
Looking back now, I'm glad I went through it. But at the time, I was, I know we were. There was a moment where we were packing up our apartment to head back down to AAA, and just told my wife, like, I don't know how much longer I can do this, to be honest. Like I worked my butt off every day just to try to get better, and it feels like I'm going backwards, and I don't get it. I don't understand it. So I told her, and it's like I'm gonna give this 2 more years, and if nothing changes, I'm gonna find something else to do because this just isn't fun for me anymore. So that was a real conversation we had, and was it maybe emotions were a little high, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but it was the real conversation we had. And Driveline gets into the picture, and Frenchie and I had a really good conversation, that I was his words that I was the future of this thing. So that kind of put in my mind that they had a plan in place. It wasn't, they sent me down to AAA. Just, we thought it was a good trade, but it didn't work out. So go to AAA. It wasn't that type of deal. So went to Driveline and really put in the work. And because, that was kind of my, if they can't figure this thing out, then I don't know what to do. So hopefully they'll have some answers, and they did. And I'm very thankful that I went there and figured all these problems out.
I'll speak on behalf of everybody here. So are we, for
Yeah,
the
right.
record, Trevor.
100%. Yeah, no
Um,
doubt.
what you said though there, I think that can speak to people beyond baseball and beyond your own story. When you said, "Hey, this isn't fun for me," and I think a lot of people go through that professionally. There's times, I get to do things that people would say we would kill to have the opportunity to. All you get to do is talk about sports for a living, man. Like I got to go
Yeah.
dig a ditch somewhere, right?
Yeah,
But I
right.
go through those same things too. Did the lessons that you learned, like, do you find yourself saying, I need to make it so that it's not just success that drives whether or not I'm having fun, that I need to remind myself that I get to do this for a living? Like, I feel like there's a mental health story there that probably goes beyond just being a pitcher or being a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah, for sure. I think it was more of, results are great, but for me, on probably the simplest level, I wanted to show myself and everybody that I can still compete at the highest level and have a little bit of success. When you're getting knocked around every 5 days, it's not very fun. But if I can go out there and just give a competitive start and give my team a chance to win, like I could take that. And even going back to Tampa, where I only went 3 innings, gave up, 3 runs. Like the results weren't there, but I knew deep down that, I felt great. My stuff was really good. I was just doing a little too much. Rather in the past, if that were to happen, I would completely shut down,
Wow.
negative thoughts, here we go again type of stuff. But it's just a completely different mental outlook for me when I'm in between the lines. So that start in particularly was like, okay, I think all the work that I'm doing, I think I'm in a good spot because I wasn't, beating myself up over that.
Trevor Rogers is with us here on GCR. Of course, a big weekend for the Orioles this weekend as they're celebrating a new class of Orioles Hall of Famers, including the great Adam Jones, with an awesome bobblehead tomorrow night. It's an incredible night to be at the ballpark. Would encourage you to get out and check it out. Trevor, something jumps out to me. Everything you've been through here. There's this scene a couple of starts ago. You go 7 shutout innings and a big crowd on a Saturday night and a standing ovation. And I just wonder like how that hits you and resonates with you because I have no doubt heard some of the other stuff last year, right? And
Hmm.
fans are fickle and
Hmm.
it's part of it. But what does that moment mean to you to get that recognition of what you've done and the work that you've put in to be in this place?
Man, it was huge. I remember just looking around and everyone was on their feet and it was so loud. It was like, wow, they're applauding my performance, that I gave to the fans. And I almost tried to like slow down walking to the dugout just so I could take it in a little bit longer. And
Wow.
that's, I just had to make sure, I gave him a little wave, a tip of the cap, because, that was huge. And even before then, all the negativity I got, I used it as fuel. They just want to see their team win. I wasn't doing that. Um, and then coming full circle and getting a standing O, it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. It was unbelievable. I'll never forget that moment.
It was a special moment, man. It was really a special moment. I had noticed that you were fairly active on Instagram
Hmm.
before you came to the Orioles, correct?
A little bit, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, a little bit.
maybe you'd say it wasn't even you, right?
Yeah, right, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I just
Yeah.
wondered if like that was like part of it is because you were going through struggles. Did that have anything to do with why you stopped posting on? Maybe you say, dude, it had nothing to do with that at all. But it
Hmm.
just happened to
Yeah,
be an interesting timeline to me that I wondered about.
yeah. It was more coming back. That sophomore slump that I had. I had a really bad year. I wouldn't even say really bad year. It was a learning year for me.
Okay.
Um, and that's kind of where the real, I guess, real social media came out. Everyone's high and mighty when you're
Yep.
doing well, and then the real part of it comes out when you're doing bad. So I just found myself after every start checking social media and
It's not good.
all that, yeah, all
Yeah.
that nonsense. So I just took it upon myself just to. I didn't delete it, but I somehow like locked myself out, so I can't even get back on there. I don't know how I did that, but it was a good decision on my part.
If you can figure out how you did it and you could let me know because I feel like it would be very good for my life if I could do
Right,
the
right.
exact same thing. The most healthy thing I could do would be to lock
Yeah,
myself out of social media.
yeah, no doubt.
I know that the answer to this question is, hey, it's a business and that's the way that it goes. But I wonder if what you said earlier about like your relationship with Frenchie and how the organization showed you that they had a plan, if that makes you think more about like a desire to want to be here long term.
Hmm.
I get that it's not that easy. Like I do understand what I'm asking, that it's not that simplistic of a question, but does it make you think about that a little bit more? Like, hey, when things weren't going right, they showed that commitment. They worked with me through it. Does it make you think about maybe this is a place that I'd like to be, I'd like to call home for a little bit longer?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. Again, my wife and I had that conversation, and you know, it was it was spotty there. It's like, man, I was in the big leagues for the whole year, and then now I'm not. So it's like, damn, that's life comes at you fast, right? And then we had that conversation, and I get back to where I know I could be, and the strength department, the pitching department, the whole staff, the organization has been, just unbelievable, all just coming together and having that goal in mind. And now we're finally here. And it's just really special for me to call Baltimore home. And, like you said, it's a business. I would love to be here, but I can't control that at the end of the day. All I can do is just keep competing, um, and helping this team win. And you never know what could happen, but Baltimore's been great, and I hope I get to call it home for a little bit longer, rather than just next year.
Trevor Rogers, just another couple of minutes with him here on GCR. Trevor, how superstitious of a person are you? And is there a part of you that would almost not prefer to not talk about the success that you're finding right now?
Yeah, I've actually gotten a little bit better at that. I'm not really superstitious anymore. Uh, my my wife and we actually have a pact. She wears uh these pair of pants he's worn probably my last five starts, and it's doing really well. I'm
I
like,
mean, my
well,
God, they're the most
yeah,
important pants
yeah,
in Baltimore.
yeah.
I need to
I'm
make
like,
this.
you
I don't
you
know who your
gotta,
dry cleaner is, but we need those pants.
yeah,
To,
especially when we're on the road. I'm like, you can't get any stains on those. It's gonna be a bad look. But it's
wait, hang on a
that's
second. Wait. If something happened and you were like out at lunch, and there was some like tomato sauce or something on the pants, would you tell her she still has to wear the pants at the ballpark?
I get her a little Tide stick. I'm like, do your best. You're bringing those. You're wearing them. I don't care.
That's awesome. That is so great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. But
have you? So was it the same way when it was going the other way? Like if you have a bad start now, does it immediately become like burn the pants, or like do you say, all right, let's try it one more time and see how it goes?
yeah, yeah. If we have a little bump in the road, I'm like, hey, let's try one more time. But I think after maybe back-to-back starts where it doesn't go so well, we might need to
It's time for
change the
something
lineup.
else.
Yeah,
It's time for
yeah,
something else. Wait,
for sure.
I don't know where you're doing. Are you at the ballpark or are you at home right now?
I'm at home.
Is there any chance we could see the pants? Is there any chance?
You, they want to see the pants.
I feel like everybody would love to see what the pants are because they're the most important pants in Baltimore.
Yeah, she's getting them.
Oh, this is awesome. This is tremendous. Thank you, Trevor. That I
Yeah, no
appreciate you
problem.
putting up with our silliness. I really appreciate that. And I apologize because I'm on the other side of the studio, so I can't even see where you are. So that was why I was asking the question.
Here they are.
Oh my gosh, those are
Nice
the
little.
pants.
Those are the pants.
Were they? Was it dumb luck that she happened to wear? So did this? What was the first start where she wore the pants?
Um, uh, Atlanta
Okay.
Atlanta or Boston. Um, and she recently got them, and she liked them. Like, just wear them to the game, and I had a good start, and then I think it was just by coincidence she wore them again
So right, it was just dumb
for start
luck.
day. Yeah, just on luck. And after that second start in a row that I did well, she was like, maybe
Yep,
it's the pants.
a
I'm
hundred
like, we're
percent.
we're gonna keep rocking them.
Your wife is a hero as well here. I want to make that abundantly clear.
Yeah,
She
yep,
is
yep.
also a
She,
hero of the story
yep, yep, 100%,
for
100%.
recognizing this and saying we don't want to mess with it.
Yeah,
Thank you. That was you did not need to do that. I
yeah, no
appreciate
problem, no
you
problem at
putting up
all.
with it. Trevor, obviously the season for the team has not gone the way that you guys wanted it to do. We do know that.
Yes,
There are people that would say, "Well, I'm worried. I think this team might be further away than we think they were." Clearly, we knew coming into the year like this was a team that had World Series aspirations. What would you say to fans about what you know about this group? And I'm not writing off this year. Obviously, like it could be a great turn, and we're rooting for that. But what they should know about this group and what you guys are going to be able to do the rest of this year, next year, in order to get this thing figured out.
yeah, that's a really good question. I think we all realize that the saying "you can't win the division in March and April, but you can lose it." I think just the very slow start that we had. I just think it's been really tough for us to climb out of that hole. I think up to a certain point where we had one of the best records in baseball the second half. I'm not sure what it is now,
Mm-hmm.
but we were playing some really good baseball. Um, but we still have like a really young, solid core. Gunner's going to be here for a while. Jackson, Westy, Adley. Mayo's finally getting his feet under him. So that solid young positional player core that we have, and even our bullpen, we got a lot of first time guys that are getting their feet wet in the bullpen. That that experience is going to help us moving forward. And I think every single guy in that clubhouse isn't happy with where we are. And I think it's a good learning experience for everybody that we don't want this to happen again next year. We knew what the expectations were, and we just didn't meet them this year. That's baseball, that's the game sometimes, and we're going to use it to get better. I put this lineup against every team in big league baseball, and I like our chances against anybody. It was unfortunate what happened, and that's just the way the game goes sometimes. But I really like where we're going to be in the future. It's easier said than done, turning it around, but I really like where we will be heading into the future.
I'm sure you've heard this from a lot of people, right? But I will tell you, Trevor, I was one of the people that was very loudly questioning the trade, all right? And
Yeah,
I want to tell you that, and
yeah,
because we all say dumb things and we all get things wrong and we all
yeah.
make mistakes,
Hmm.
and it's just awesome. It really is an awesome story, and I appreciate how open you are about what you went through, because I feel like for men in particular, we don't like being vulnerable, right?
Hmm.
And I think that people hearing you talk about that goes a long way towards understanding, like, you're not alone. Like,
Yeah,
we, we,
right.
we all go through this. So I'm so appreciative of you using your voice that way, man. I think that's a powerful thing. And I'm obviously very appreciative of what you're doing right
Yeah,
now.
right. Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
right,
me too.
I imagine that's been a lot of fun for you. That
Yeah.
part is tremendous. Trevor, seriously, congratulations on the season that you've been putting together, and we can't wait to see a lot more of it moving forward. Thank you for taking the time. Thank you to your wife for her commitment to what's going
Yeah.
on, and we wish you nothing but health and success moving forward, and looking forward to doing this again down the road. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Appreciate you having me.
That's Trevor Rogers. It's a great story, right? Like it's obviously it goes beyond baseball. There's something very human about struggle and how you handle it, and he's clearly handled it. And now the hope is you get this version of Trevor Rogers. You get this version of Trevor Rogers moving forward. You got a Cy Young candidate, obviously. It's just utterly insane how good this guy has been of late. So thank you to Trevor Rogers for taking the time for us.